Hey everyone, so today's tutorial is for beginners, but before we get started I just wanted to let you know about two videos that I already have. One of them is on all different kinds of brushes, and you can click on the right to go to that if you want to learn more about brushes, and one of them is about makeup products, and you can click on the left if you want to learn more about the different makeup products. For the tutorial I'll be giving a very detailed talk through of a simple day to evening to night look. I'll also have a link below in the description box to my blog where I have written instructions for you. So I hope you enjoy.
So I'm going to start off by priming my face and eyes. Now this is an optional step, if you don't have primers that's fine, but what they do is they help the products to go on smoother and to last longer. So if you do have primers for your face and eyes, then go ahead and use them. For my face I'll be using the Benefit's Professional Primer, and I've just squeezed out a little bit onto my fingertips, and I've already sanitized my hands. I'm just smoothing that over my skin and concentrating it in areas where I need filling in, so around my cheeks here where I have large pores, any lines where foundation would tend to sink in, so I have forehead lines here, and this will just fill in any of those areas and help the foundation go on much smoother and last longer. For my eyes I'm using e.l.f.'s mineral eyeshadow, which is very affordable. You can get it on the e.l.f. website. Just put a little bit on my eyes, on the lid and up into the crease, because I have oilier lids, and that means that throughout the day I find that my eyeshadows will sink into those lines and it will create little lines in the crease. So I use primer to avoid creasing, and this will also help the shadows to go on better. They go on a little bit more vibrant. So I just smooth that in. Now for my foundation I'm going to be using Revlon's Colour Stay foundation, and the brush that I just happen to be using for today is Sigma's F86, which looks like this. It's like a chunky pointed foundation brush, but you can use whatever foundation brushes you like to use. You could use a dual fibre brush like this, an angled buffing brush, a flat foundation brush. This is kind of the typical foundation brush that you see a lot. Whatever it is that you like to use. So I just put a little bit of foundation on the back of my hand, and this would be easier if it had a pump, which is one of the unfortunate things about Revlon's Colour Stay. So if you have a foundation with a pump, just pump a little bit onto the back of your hand, take it on your brush and just apply it to your face. I like to start in the centre of the face. I work outwards, or at least where I need the most coverage. So I have a lot of breakouts in the similar areas, so I apply it to those areas first. So you might have redness in your cheeks or any other little blemishes, and I kind of let that sit, and I move on to the other areas of my face, my nose, my forehead, so that it just sinks in a little bit better, so when I go to blend it out I won't be moving away all of the product that I wanted to be concentrated there. And I'm just going back in and tapping on a little bit more product where I need it, blending it out. So for my concealer I'm going to be using a cream concealer. This one is from NYX and it's called the Full Coverage Concealer. And to keep it nice and easy I'm just going to be using my ring finger. So I'm just dabbing it on any of the blemishes that are still showing through. If you don't have any blemishes, or if there's nothing showing through your foundation, then you don't need to do this step. So once I've got it patted on, I just take my foundation brush and just press it over the top just to help blend it out. I'm not swiping, I'm not trying to move the product away, I'm just pressing it into the skin to blend it out but keep as much coverage as I can. Now I'm going to take that on my under eyes, just where you see any darkness, and if you're looking straight in the mirror just turn your head this way, because sometimes you'll often miss a little bit of that darkness that carries up along next to the nose. You mightn't have that, but it's good to just to have a little check, because so often we do our makeup looking straight on and we don't realise that maybe we have a line here from our foundation, or we have a blemish here that we didn't notice, and you go out in the day and people see you from all sorts of angles. So I just press it on with my finger in little light tapping motions, and I like to take it up to the outer corner here as well, because I get darkness around the corner. So anything you want concealed. Now we will set that in with powder, but we'll just let it settle into the skin naturally while we do the eyes. So for the eyes, I'm just going to be using two shades. I'm going to be taking a light shimmery shade like this one. This is called Light Bronze. It's kind of a goldy shade. And a matte medium brown. This is called Taupe, and these are from the Lorac Pro palette. And I'm going to be using two brushes. The first is just a flat shader brush, the kind of standard eyeshadow brush that you see a lot. And the second is a blending brush. It's just a fluffy brush like this. And for me, a blending brush is absolutely essential with nearly every look. So on my flat shader brush, I'm going to be taking that light shimmery colour, and I'm just going to be lightly brushing that onto the lid. If you find that the shadows you're using are very powdery and are falling down a lot, then you want to be doing more of a pressing motion to keep it on the lid. Also using a primer will help that. I've got that all over the lid, and I'm just going to take a little bit just around the tear duct here. Like that. Just the same on the other eye. Then I'm taking my fluffy blending brush and I'm taking that matte brown colour. And I like to, when I pick up shadow, I like to tap it with my nail. Just helps any excess powder just fall off, because otherwise when you go to put it on your eye, all that excess will fall down onto your cheek. So I'll be applying this colour into the crease, and your crease is basically this part here between your lid and your say brow bone area. So if you just feel with your finger the bone that's under your brow, it's underneath that. It's where it starts to sink in underneath, for all the world. It sounds horrible, but the socket of your eye. It's where your eye sits into. So you might have a very defined crease, you might have more of a monolid, a hooded eye, or a partially hooded crease like I have. So you can see that it's literally just a fold rather than there being a natural curve to the eye. So exactly where you place this does depend on your eye shape, but you want it to be visible when your eyes are open and relaxed and looking straight ahead. So for example, for me, if I raise my eyebrows and I put it right into the crease right in here, once I relax my eyes, that skin comes down and it covers it and you can't see it. So I need to take mine up a bit further. I blend it up to the point where when I am looking forward, you can see that. So the first thing is finding a crease and then placing it into the crease, relaxing your eyes, looking into the mirror and seeing what it looks like. So once you roughly know where you're going to place it, just take it on your brush and you just do back and forward motions very lightly. If you find that you're a bit too heavy handed, hold the brush further away. That'll let the brush do more of the work rather than you having too much control. So I just go back and forward, or you can do little circular motions, and then once I have most of the colour deposited, I start moving the brush upwards, still doing back and forwards motions, and that just helps to give it a gradient upwards. So you can see there that it's not particularly too strong, but you can definitely see the difference. It just adds more depth to the eye because you're basically creating a fake shadow in the crease, and it's also just not as boring as just one shadow on the lid. So I'm picking up a little bit more and doing the same on the other side. If you have quite crepey lids or fine skin, a lot of more mature skins tend to get a bit more crepier. So if you find that your skin is moving with the brush rather than your brush moving over the skin, just place your ring finger just on the outside. Try not to pull it too much. It's something that I have a habit of doing, which is not too good. Just place it here just to hold it in place, basically to hold the skin in place, and then move your brush backwards and forwards, because I find that my skin can oftentimes do that, move with the brush. Now you may not need to do this, but I'm just going to touch up the colour that I did on the lid, because sometimes when you're blending quite close to something you've already done, you can blend away a little bit of that colour. I'm just going back in to replace any colour I've lost. Then we're going to go back to our flat shader brush, and we're going to take the edge of it, so not the side of it, but just the thin edge of it. And we're going to go into our matte brown shade, the colour we just used for our crease, and we're going to run this along the lower lash line, so right at the base of the lashes. Let's just add some definition. So next I'm going to be applying some eyeliner on the top lash line, and I'm going to be using a black pencil from Urban Decay. This is one of their 24/7 pencils and it's in the colour Perversion. So I'm just going to take this and lightly, as close as you can to the roots, create a line. So I'm just doing mine in little strokes. And you want to keep your line thinnest on the inner corner, and you can thicken it up towards the outer corner then if you want. And how thick you go with your eyeliner again depends on your eye shape, how much space you have. You mightn't have much space, and you might have only a small bit of lid space, so you don't want to cover all your lid up with black. And I'm just going to do the same on the other eye. So when you line with a pencil, it's not always going to be the smoothest, so to fix any little bumps or skips, I'm just going to take a cotton bud, a clean cotton bud, and just run over that liner softly. And that will just help to almost blend the edge. So next onto mascara, and I like to curl my lashes before I apply mascara just because my lashes are pretty pathetic. They're not very curly or long or thick or anything, so I like to get as much effect as I can from them, however much that is. So curling them will just help lift them a little bit and give a little bit more effect. So if you are curling your lashes, I like to go right at the root and give 1, 2, 3 squeezes, let go, bring it up towards the middle of the lash, 2, 3 squeezes, and then and then go right to the end of them, and 1, 2, 3. And I do the same on the other side. And then I take my mascara. Today I'm using L'Oreal's Voluminous Full Definition Mascara, and I just take it out and I just wipe off any excess on the tip. And then you don't want to pump your mascara to try and get more product on, because all that's doing is pushing more and more air into it, and that will dry out your mascara a lot faster. So we're just applying that from root to tip. And you can give it a little wiggle as you pull it up. I find that it's easiest to kind of look down into a mirror. So I haven't gone back into the mascara now at all, so whatever is left on the brush I'm just going to use on my lower lashes. And I don't always apply mascara to the lower lashes, so if you'd rather not, then don't feel that you have to. So for doing the lower lashes, then I like to tilt my head and almost look up into a mirror if I can. And you're just very lightly doing little wiggle motions to catch the hairs. And I like to just apply literally a very thin coat to the lower lashes. If you catch any on your skin, I'm just taking the clean end of that other cotton bud I used earlier. And just fixing any little mistakes. If you do have a lot of trouble with doing your lower lashes, which I often do, I would recommend getting the Clinique bottom lash mascara, and it's this little tiny mascara, and when you open it up it has this tiny little wand, so it makes it so easy just to get onto those little lashes. So I would definitely recommend that if you do have trouble with doing mascara on the bottom. So those are the eyes done, very simple, very basic. If you want to amp it up a little bit more, maybe for the evening, I would take your black pencil and just apply it into the lower waterline, and that'll just give it more intensity. Now for the brows today, I'm going to be using a brow pencil, but if you don't have a brow pencil, you can also use brown eyeshadow, a matte brown eyeshadow, so one that doesn't have any shimmer or sparkle in it. So ones like these ones here, these 1, 2, 3 here, and then depending on your how light or dark your brows are, you can go for a lighter brown or a darker brown, whatever you have that will match your brows. And if you're unsure of what shade to go with your brows, I would say go a little bit lighter than your brow hairs, because if you match your brow hairs exactly and you fill them in, you'll just create a block of colour. But you want to be able to see the hairs and for them to look more natural. So if you use a slightly lighter colour than the actual hairs, then you're filling in any gaps, but you're still able to see a little bit more dimension, you're able to see the hairs. So I'm going to be using Rimmel's brow pencil, and this is in the colour dark brown. And I'm just filling them in with little strokes. And just following the shape of my brow. And then I take the little brush end on the other side and just brush it through. You can use, you might have like a little brow brush like this. Or you might have a spoolie like this that you can use. Or if not, you don't need to. This helps to disperse the product and kind of shape the hairs. So I've just those roughly filled in, and now move on to the rest of the face. So as I mentioned before, we're going to set the base in place, and I'm going to be using a pressed powder from Rimmel. This is the Stay Matte powder, and it's in translucent, so there's no colour to it. Now I would often use a big powder brush to apply powder, but today I'm just going to be using a little angled brush like this. You can use whatever brush you find easiest. Now I like to set my makeup with powder all over my face because A, I have oily skin, so it does tend to get a bit shiny, and B, I have a lot of scarring and blemishes that are best to keep matte so that they don't show up. So I like to keep my face fairly matte. If you don't like that look, if you like more of a dewy look, then you can just precision set, and that just means basically applying the powder precisely where you would get oily. So just maybe on your forehead, down your nose, on your chin, basically in the T-zone, so anywhere that you would just get a little bit oily that you want to avoid getting shiny. Or if you have drier skin and you don't want that powdery matte feel on your skin, then again just powder where you feel it's necessary. But for me, I like to set all over, and again I like to pat it on so that I'm not moving the product that's underneath it. I'm not affecting the foundation, I'm just pushing it on over it. And also make sure you set under your eyes over that concealer to help it not fall into the fine lines and crease up, because that happens with a lot of concealers, that throughout the day they'll just settle into any little lines around your eyes. And if you have trouble with that, I'd recommend the MAC Pro Longwear. That's pretty good for not creasing. Or there's a Makeup Forever, I think it's a waterproof one. So onto my blush, I'm taking a MAC blush, and this is called Stay Pretty, and it's one of their Pro Longwear blushes. So it's just this nice pink colour, and I'm going to use the same brush again. That's one of the handy things of using a smaller maybe blush style brush for your powder, because you just use the same brush again. So I just pick a little bit up and tap off the excess, and then depending on how pigmented your blush, if you find that it's a very strong blush, then you can just tap a little bit off onto the back of your hand and then go onto your cheek. So I like to start on the apple of my cheek, so when you smile, it's that the kind of the plumpest bit of your cheek, if that makes sense. So right here, and I like to start there and then pull upwards towards the cheekbone. So again, holding it very lightly. If you find you're very heavy-handed, move back on the brush and just doing small circular motions to blend it out until you're happy with how it looks. I don't like a very heavily blushed look, mainly because again it helps accentuate any red scarring or blemishes that might be coming through on my skin. So I like to avoid that, but I like to look healthy at the same time. And then for my lips, I'm just going to take a little bit of lip gloss, and this is in a nudie pink kind of a colour. This is from Tanya Burr, and it's in the colour Afternoon Tea. Very natural, very wearable kind of a colour. And just applying that all over the lips. So it just gives a nice natural colour to the lips and a nice bit of sheen. So that's my very basic makeup, very day appropriate, very wearable, and I'm actually just going to show you the same look just with a different lip colour, just to show you how you can change up the look very simply. So I've taken off my lip gloss and I'm going to take a bold coloured lipstick. This is from NYX, it's one of their matte lipsticks and it's called Bloody Mary. It looks like that. Very strong pinky red colour. So that just amps up the look a little bit more if you were going from a day to night look. If you were maybe wearing your makeup to work and you were going out to dinner, popping on a bolder, brighter lipstick definitely adds some effect. And those bolder, stronger lip colours definitely work a bit easier with more simple eye makeup. And then again, as I mentioned, you could add a black in the waterline, so I'm just going to do that to show you how that would look. So that amps it up even more, and it gives more definition to the eyes. It creates more of a sultry look to the eyes. So that could be if you're going from day to evening to night, and if you were going out for a night out, going to a club or something, if you wanted a little bit more, then popping some black in the waterline definitely brings it up a notch. So I will have a link down below in the description box to my blog, and there I will have a list of all the products that I have used and instructions on how you can create this look at home. So I hope you liked the look and I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up by clicking the like button that's down below. Also subscribe if you haven't already. There's a little red subscribe button down below, or there's a link in the description box too. And that way you'll be able to see more makeup tutorials and more videos like this. So thanks again so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye!